Hello, I'm Gareth Davies, and this is the Championship Rounds for PitchBoxing, where I bring you all the interviews from the combat sports world. Enjoy. Well, I'm joined by one of my favourites in boxing, always has been. I always envy that tattooed cross and a chain that he's got on his chest. I wanted to have one myself, but I thought if I ended up showing it to you, you'd embarrass me with copycat.
No way, mate. I would be a pleasure to have you having the same tattoo.
Let's talk about that first of all. When did you get that done? Were you in your teens?
Yeah, when I was 17. I always wanted to get the rosary beads tattooed around my neck, and then I was going to get the tattoo, and I was like, oh, I said to my dad, I don't know. I heard it's sore around the collarbone and stuff, so I might just get it around my arm. And he was just, yeah, whatever. And I says, make it the no fear hanging my arm. He says, yeah, whatever. So I came out and I went to the tattoo place. The guy says, what do you want? He says, I want it around my neck, but I was told it's too sore. And he says, you're getting it around your neck because you'll regret it anywhere else. I says, okay. Got it around the neck. Come back, called my dad in the stairs. Look, Dad, I got it. And he goes, what the have you done? He says, you're never going to get a job. And I says, well, thankfully I'm going to be a boxer. I don't need a job. He says, you stupid idiot, and walked it out. So he wasn't happy at the start, but he's grown to love it.
Listen, I've asked about it now. Can I ask, can we see it now? Because you can't actually see it with it on. There we go, there it is. It always looks amazing. I remember particularly, when did I chat to you about it first? I think, did you get gold in Glasgow at the Com Games?
Yes.
It was then. We had a chat about it.
Yeah.
And you there was a grin pinned from ear to ear that day.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about you. You're 30 now. You were an amateur gold medalist as well, weren't you, in the World Championships?
Yeah.
Doha 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that arguably one of your greatest achievements?
I think it will be forever. Many people have won world championships in the professionals, and especially from Ireland and England. So how many people have actually won an amateur world title? There's only two of us, me and Frankie Kevin. So it's a great achievement. They create a history, and it will live with me forever. So it's something I'll always be proud of.
Do you think that exacerbated your disappointment the following year in Rio at the Olympic Games?
Yeah, 100%. I went into the games gold medal favorite, and I felt like the gold medal favorite. I was firing on all cylinders, ready to go, and then what happened, and the rest is history, so they say.
Tell me when you see now that EBA, they're not IEBA anymore, they're EBA, aren't really fulfilling the criteria under the new president Kremlov, and the IOC are suggesting that yes, there'll be amateur boxing in Paris, Michael, 2024, but they're probably going to not have amateur boxing in the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. You've experienced it, I think, twice. No, is it twice?
Yeah, 2 games.
You're in London. You're in London, of course. You were in London.
London, yeah.
As someone that's experienced it, as someone that's grown through, your brilliance has come through the amateur ranks. How big a loss is it to boxing not to have boxing in the Olympics?
I think it's a huge loss. I know if the Olympics weren't in boxing, I probably wouldn't be boxing. The Olympics is what got me into it, really. My father, obviously, being my coach, was a big part of it, but watching the Olympics is what made me want to box. And I said from when I watched the 2004 Olympics, I told my mom and dad, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there. And 2012, I ended up going and doing that and getting the bronze medal. So it's a major part of my career. The reason I think most fighters stay amateur and want to achieve what they achieve, look at all the greats that have done it. The history around the Olympics, it's really, really special. And if it's taken out of the games, it'll be a very, very disappointing day for boxing. A very horrible day for boxing. One of the worst, I think.
Some of the most famous boxers of all time. Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard, Vasyl Lomachenko right now, Alexander Usyk right now, Anthony Joshua. You can just go on and on. There's so many. It's unbelievable. What, in your view, I know that Roy Jones Jr. wrote a letter to the IOC and EBA. What, in your view, can be done? Is there anything that can be done? Should we be campaigning?
Yeah, I don't know what can be done. The people in power should not be in power, and that's the thing. Even recently here when they have stopped, I think Ukraine from entering the competition, because the president of AIBA is Russian, Umar Kremlin, is it?
Kremlev,
So,
yeah. Umar
um,
Kremlev, yeah.
so he has stopped Ukraine from competing in events. Like, come on, it's boxing, it's not politics here. We're not involved in politics. That should not happen. And the fact that that's happened is just like boxing is already on the verge of being kicked from the Olympics. Why would you do something stupid like this? They don't care. They don't believe it will be kicked. That's in my opinion. And that's why the actions are being taken of what they're being taken. I think there was meant to be another election and it was cancelled.
That's right.
Because so many countries decided, no, we don't want another election. We're happy. What can be done?
If you were to stand in front of the IOC committee on this, what would you say to them about how it's affecting the lifeblood of boxing itself? What would you say to them?
I would probably say about how much lives they're actually affecting, not even just boxing. Like, boxing saved many people's lives, especially kids in the working class. It saved so many of them. And it being taken to the Olympics, less funding, everything like that. Boxing drops, the participants drop, and all this. So, I think it affects everyone. Not just amateur boxing. I think it affects normal people who take up boxing and want to become, amateur stars and professional stars. I think the boxing in general, professional boxing included, will all be affected because the conveyor belt which comes through the Olympic Games, and that's how everybody starts to know who's coming through everywhere. So I think it all will be affected, and it's horrible. But what can we do?
When you won medals at the games, does funding go into the Irish system there
Yes,
and from you winning?
yes,
Like you and Paddy winning?
yes. Uh,
And
when you win medals, it's how countries earn money, and how they kind of get funding for the rest of the ages in boxing, and the rest of
so the
the
whole system would lose the money in the country from that Olympic
yep.
medal loss from
Yep,
not winning.
there's no more sports funding for
Yeah.
any of the athletes. No more the money for to send them away on the trips and all this here. So it's very disappointing.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll talk more about that. Yeah, I think you're a very prominent figure in that, and hopefully we can use your voice, and the voice of others to move the IOC on this. I think it's a really concerning thing in boxing. Let me talk about you. In December the 3rd or the 10th, I can't remember right now. December the 10th. You're back in Belfast. You were there in August. You were there last August. How special a place is it for you to fight? Obviously, it's Kerem Guerfi. How special a place is it for you to fight? And do you get more out of yourself there, or is it more pressure on you?
No, it's really special. I'm really looking forward to it. Belfast is my home, and when I go there, I feel like I'm at home. I feel like a king at times. When I'm fighting in them arenas, how I'm treated and how the fans turn out for me, and it's unbelievable. I couldn't be more thankful for the kind of opportunity I have to fight there. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say more pressure. I would definitely say, I have a different level when we come to Belfast. It's always just I feel just much more at home, much more at ease. Everything seems to flow much better. So yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't actually would I couldn't put my finger on the reasons, but it's just special.
Where does this fight place you? Obviously, you are higher ranked in the world than
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
What's the positioning of this fight, and where are you headed towards with
You
victory?
know, we're aiming for a world title shot in March. we're aiming for a World Hit Challenge St. Patrick's Day, and that's our aim. But this is just, stay busy, keep fighting before the year is out. I like to have 3 fights per year, and this is one of them. I've got a tough test, and Gareth, who's a 5-time European champion, was beating Jordan until he lost, and he was also in a fight of the year contender as well as I was, and I lost. So, yeah, it's just kind of to stay busy, man.
So I was looking in the sanctioning bodies. Which are you looking towards world title honours in? WBA?
WBO. I'm ready to go for any of them, and I know they're with Top Rank and the people connected in there will be able to move positions and get into the right position. Gareth will be a good test, no doubt. But I believe I'm going to do a job on him.
I don't know offhand right now. Does Emmanuel Navarrete have a fight in between then and now?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure either.
But it's the WBO route that you want at the moment, then, yeah.
WBO or WBA, either or doesn't bother me. We'll work out positions with Top Rank after this and figure out where's going to be the best for us.
So WBA, does that bring in obviously Lee Wood again and Leo Santa Cruz into play?
Definitely, 100%. And either or, I would love to go at. I don't think Lee wants to fight me. I don't believe he was injured when he pulled out of the Lara fight. I just think that he kind of knew that wasn't the fight he was going to win. And I seen that Ray Vargas is going to fight someone for the WBC. So, I think he just avoided that fight. And there's the fight there with myself, but obviously he wants to fight Leo Santa Cruz. And it's unfortunate because he'll still be out. I'll probably have another 2 fights before he has even had one since our fight. So I could have 3 in total. If he doesn't fight to March, most likely I'll have 3 fights before he's had one. And that's disappointing as a champion. You want to be active. He's talking about earning money and wanting to stay active and making the biggest, most meaningful fights for him and the kind of set himself up for after sport. But if you're not fighting, you're not going to be earning any money.
Do you genuinely feel he's avoiding you then?
Yeah, I do. I believe that he sees probably a high risk, low reward versus me.
What would you do differently this time around, even though you were almost there to victory last time?
There's not much I would do different. There's a few little tweaks to be made, but there's not much I would do different. Everything flowed quite well. Maybe I wouldn't have to punch him as much because I was punching him when they didn't need to punch him. He was already done. At the end, as I say, it was just fatigue. It done me. So, I just need to be more smart with my energies.
So you could almost, it's a fascinating thing to say that you were winning the rounds very, I'd say easily because it's never easy, but you're winning the rounds by much greater volume of punches. And what you're saying is you could actually throw fewer punches and win the fight easier.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, I'm wishing you the best of luck against in the Gareth fight. I mean, it'll be a raucous atmosphere as it always is for you in Belfast because you're so popular, understandably. I've got to ask you, you're someone who spoke out very openly when you believe that there were cheating at the Rio Games where you didn't get your gold medal, that you fully felt was yours. Last week, boxing was plunged into a murky mire here, a murky mess for a week with Conor Benn testing positive with Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, and yet the fight's still going ahead in the promoters' minds, the opponent agreeing. Could you ever imagine agreeing to go ahead with a fight? I know you're all fighters and you might be getting massive Could you imagine yourself in the boots first of all of Chris Eubank Jr.?
If I was junior, yes, I understand exactly why he was going to fight. He believed that there's no way in hell Conor Benn can beat him, no matter what drug he is taking, no matter what he is doing. He doesn't care. He's still going to fight. He's earning some silly money, which a lot of fighters will never earn, and he's going to earn it in one fight. He's saying, "Why wouldn't I fight this guy? He can't do anything to beat me. He can't take anything in the world to beat me." That's how confident he was in that fight. So I understand his reasons for taking the fight. But do I agree with him? No. Because I'm not him. And that's the simple fact. I think that anybody who's cheating should never be allowed to fight. Should be banned for life, unless they can honestly say that there was a mistake and such happened, and
Well,
this
he
is the reason
deserves
why.
a hearing. Ben clearly deserves a hearing because he says
Yes.
he hasn't done it deliberately. He says he's a clean athlete. We have to give him the hearing. I mean, I haven't hung him out yet, but your feeling is if someone tests positive and it is a positive test and it's proven so, it should be a life
Yeah.
ban.
Yeah, that's I've said that from the start. I've said that from the start. Life bans, I believe anybody who's cheating in boxing. Listen, I don't really care about athletics or anything like that where it's not a combat sport. See, like I would love like take all the drugs you want. Let me see how fast you can actually run. Let me see how fast you and body can actually go without failing. Let's see what they can do. But in boxing, it's someone's life. That's it. Like it's someone's in there and someone could die, and many people have died in the ring. Um, I don't think this is kind of fixed until someone does die. If I'm going to be honest, I think that's when changes might happen. But I think doping will run rampant for a while yet until something happens bad, which is a really sad. It's a sad thing to say, really.
I mean, I understood the board prohibiting the event last week because I think they've got corporate manslaughter on their hands if the fight goes ahead anyway. I think I think you've got a criminal event on your hands if someone died or someone was irreparably damaged in the ring as a result of it. You just can't mitigate for it. You can't. There's no justification to go ahead, in my view, to go ahead with an event when one of the boxers tested positive, whether it's contaminated or not, because you just need to err on the side of caution. It's got to be about fighters' safety first, doesn't it?
Definitely, and the fact that it was even considered bothers me. The fact that apparently things were going to be brushed under the carpet bothers me. Um, and if this has happened in the past, fuck me, that's a scary thought. The fact that was going to kind of look like it was going to be brushed under the carpet and just move on. The fact that that was even going to happen worries me for what's ever happened in the past. It's a scary thought that knowing that people probably have failed tests and it's been kind of not heard of or nobody said anything about it, and it's scary. This is a sport. I have a young family, and like I know the dangers of boxing. I'm well aware of what goes on and what effects it can have on lives and your health. You don't need an extra little bit in there to go, no, I'm going to fuck you a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more damage to you. I'm going to possibly kill you. And if it does happen, the person should be jailed for attempted murder or manslaughter or something like that, because that's disgusting, man, and it's very very worrying. And I've said for a long time that I believe an awful lot of the top guys in boxing are doping. I think it bothers me too that not many people speak out. It does bother me. Like a lot of the champions and stuff. If you're one of the top guys, you should be shouting from the rooftop saying, "Get him out! That's not right. You should not be doing that. Go on. We don't want you in here." But you don't see that, and that bothers me. I'm worried about that. I go, why are these guys not speaking? I don't need to name anybody. Why are they not speaking up? It's worrying for the sport, and I think that we're just scratching the surface when it comes to all this, really, and it's just scary.
Do you think if they gave lifetime bans when people were caught, then it would really start to discourage people from doing it? Then,
yeah, definitely. Definitely, I think it would. I don't think it would completely discourage it, but it definitely would discourage it. I seen Sam Jones. He quoted something from Cool Runnings where the coach, in it, he failed for the coach of the bobsleigh team. He failed for a drug test, and when he was in the Olympics, got his gold medals took off him, and they asked why, and he says, "I just needed to win." And it's understandable that people just want to win, but not when someone else's life.
Not in a fight. Not in a fight.
Not when someone else's life is at risk.
Yeah.
Because people have died without the dope being involved. Like, that's just an extra damage, extra hindrance, whatever you want to call it. It's scary.
Well, I don't want to end on that note, so I'm going to ask you, give a message to the rest of the division about what's coming next year for them, from Michael Conlan.
I'll be world champion next year. I know, and I said I'll be world champion this year, but unfortunately things didn't play the way I thought they would, and I'm ready to right that wrong and get back to where I belong. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much indeed, Michael. Looking forward to the 10th of December. Cheers, Gareth. Thank you, mate.